Gareth Bale was asked about what Leo Messi should expect in MLS when he comes over into Miami, and he said, well, they accept losing a bit more in the US than in the rest of the world. There's no consequence, you can't get relegated. Is that fair?
I think it's true. I mean, certainly it's the feedback you get.
Nobody wants to lose, right? Don't give me that line like, oh, it's okay, they're okay if they lose.
I think if you speak to, like, Gareth Bale doesn't talk much, and I've been very critical of him in the past, but when he does talk, and he's honest about it, he was comparing it, putting it in context. He says, like, at Real Madrid, you lose a game, it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
In MLS, you're not going to get relegated. A lot of teams make the playoffs. You're not going to, there are passionate local fan bases, but they're not going to show up outside your house if you're Neymar, right? So in that sense, I think there is less pressure. There's going to be less pressure on the environment. Now, obviously, if you're Lionel Messi, you still put a tremendous amount of pressure on yourself and whatever, that's fine. But it is a different environment. And we've had the feedback from people who've worked in Europe and the US. I think especially, I'm going to get into promotion relegation, but it does impact things. I mean, we've heard a million stories, from different people about how, from Nadim himself, right? Yeah. What happens? Like, oh, look, we're out of the playoffs and there's 10 games to go. Okay. Now what? Like,
but that happens in the Premier League as well. When you're mid-table, you're safe, and there's 5 games.
I don't think it happens to this. I don't think it happens to this degree. I don't think it happens to, at least anecdotally, from what we've heard, especially when it comes to players who, it might be different for players who are competing to keep their spot on the roster, but if you have a contract, and all of a sudden, what difference does it make if you beat Minnesota United so that you can finish, one spot above, one spot below? Makes no difference, right? If once you're out of the playoffs, this is the kind of thing that happens. I don't think it's gonna.
Again, you can say that in a lot of leagues in Europe as well. If you're not going to go down and not going to go into Europe, then you finish 12th or 11th.
Right. But Gareth Bale played his entire career for Southampton, avoiding relegation. Tottenham trying to get into top four.
Yeah, true.
And Messi's played for Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain, competing for titles in target. He's used to that level of pressure. I think that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.